Billie Eilish got a new album out and I'm going to talk about it. Okay, so Billie's album is called Hit Me Hard and Soft and it is her third studio album. Her first album I loved straight from when it came out, and I listened to it a couple of months ago and it still holds up. And it just showed that from a young age that an artist like Billie has got potential and really does have the passion for it, with so many people accusing her of being an industry plant. My response to the industry plant argument is always, yeah, they can get into the industry fairly easily, but they have to make fucking good music and keep an audience captivated for them to stay. And that's what Billie's done. There was a lot of talk about this album and just Billie's next load of material, that it was going to be more rock inspired. It isn't. It has got a few heavier instrumentals from a Billie Eilish standpoint. It's not heavy at all. I would not say anything on this album is rock in the slightest. But that does not mean that I didn't enjoy it. So let's go through the songs and say what I think of them. Okay, so let's start off with Skinny. This is a very typical, beautiful vocal performance from Billie. A similar sort of style to What Was I Made For. In this song, she talks a lot about the criticisms that she's had, aka her weight, and also the maturity of her as an artist. There's also an element of her talking to an ex-partner, and this means that it's a song I can 100% see people crying their eyes out over. Okay, next song, Shahiro. God knows. This is definitely more of the same breakup content going over to the next song. But for me, it didn't really have the same impact, just because the production on the instrumental on this was so thick. There were so many times that you can't actually hear very clearly what Billie is singing. And that for me is always a turn off. When it seems like there's more production than passion into a song, I'm just like, I'm out. But heavy production is nothing new for a Billie Eilish track. Lunch, the lead single, it has a very similar element to Bad Guy About It, very funky. It almost reminds me of something that you'd expect from Blur or Gorillaz especially, actually. And this sees Billie talk about crushing very hard on a girl, which I think will make a lot of Billie Eilish stans very happy. Okay, Birds of a Feather. This for me was a real highlight because of the drum beat. The drum beat makes this one of Billie's most dance-along songs. And considering Billie's got a very sad style of music, this levity that this song puts into an album really helps how an album flows, of having the occasional bit of happy and then bring us more sad. I think this sort of stuff works well for us, so this was a highlight for me. Wildflower, well, this surprised me from the start because the start has almost a Oasis style guitar instrumental, and this works very well for a song that is very much about grieving the loss of someone in any aspect. It's not just death, it's like you can grieve over someone who's still here, you just don't have anything to do with them, or you have less to do with them. And the vocals from Billie on this song are beautiful. Okay, The Greatest. This song sees Billie talk about loneliness in a relationship and trying so hard to make something work with someone who is not showing the same amount of love, care or passion back to her, which I think is a very relatable topic for a lot of people. I think a lot of people have had that, where they've been with someone that you're like, I love you more than you love me, and it's a horrible feeling. So this is another song I can picture a lot of people crying their eyes out over. L'amour de ma vie, I think that's how you say it. At this point in the album, it's very clear that Billie is kind of going with the pop trend of writing about breakups, writing about relationships. But this one was interesting because this saw Billie talk about being with a almost toxic partner of, if you leave me, I won't deal with it, it'll break my heart, it will kill me, all that sort of stuff. And then when she does go, the person moves on immediately. And then when that first immediately came through, it held so much impact. And this for me was one of the most impactful songs, and really loved it. As someone who isn't really that bothered about other people's relationships or breakup songs or stuff like that, this one for me did hold quite a lot of impact. At The Diner, now this for me, the instrumental kind of reminded me of Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas, which in terms of Billie, she's a pop star, so this innocent level of creepiness injected into a song is quite cool, because Billie's style with songs like Zanny and stuff off her first album like, she has got that bit of creepiness to her. It's the perfect level. It's, you know, it's marketable because she's very mainstream. You're never going to see Billie Eilish come on a record and go, fuck you, you cunt, to her ex. She's never going to do a song that's really scary. So just putting little creepy bits in, I think, works really well for it. Bittersweet. This was a bit of a unique style of love song from Billie because it's almost like she's having an out-of-body experience and witnessing her own situation that she's going through. And it was definitely unique songwriting. I'm still not sure whether I liked it or not. I think I do prefer this sort of vague, random style of songwriting that she puts on this song because it's quite hard to get a grips on, like, what are you talking about? Which, those sort of songs, I think, are often the best, the ones that make you think, because an artist's got to make you feel something. Otherwise, what's the point? Okay, Blue. This, for me, is probably my favourite song on the album. Loved it. It's a great length, brilliant finale track, and just, it feels like Billie's talking about sort of her quest for being normal in just regular situations. So, like, with partners, obviously people have called her weird throughout her career and that she's mental and all that sort of stuff. So I think Billie talking about that sort of thing creates a very personal level to a song that's very likely going to do very well. So a lot of fans hearing her talk about stuff that people have said about her before get really hit for die-hard Billie Eilish fans. And I'm not a die-hard Billie Eilish fan. I like some of her music, and whenever she releases an album, I listen to it for curiosity. But for me, the line, I try to live in black and white, but I'm so blue, is so impactful. Love that. That, for me, is the highlight of the album. That line alone, my favourite part of the album. So overall, I really like this album. I think it's a vast improvement from her last Happier Than Ever. That for me just felt extremely forgettable, but it is not as good for me as When We Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go? I love that album. That for me is a 9.5 out of 10 in terms of pop albums. It's not one of my favourite albums of all time, but if someone said what's like the best pop album made, I think that is in the running. This for me just didn't feel as fun just because it's a breakup album. Mostly it just didn't have the cool aspect that the first album had, but I would still rate this an 8 out of 10. I still really enjoyed it. So those are my brief thoughts on the new Billie Eilish album. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment down below what you thought of it, and I will see you very soon. See you later.